Hello and welcome to absolute value inequalities. We're going to graph these. Some of these we're going to have to solve first, and since there's absolute value, there's going to be two answers. Looking at number 1, starting with number 1, I have x minus 5 is greater than 7. I am going to leave that one. I'm also going to write negative of x minus 5 is greater than 7. And I'm starting off this way because there is nothing multiplied here in front, and there's nothing added or subtracted in front or behind. So the absolute value part is by itself on one side, and at that point I'm going to write the negative part of the absolute value. Solving both of these, if let me change colors here, add 5, I add 5, that gives me x is greater than 12. Over here I need to distribute this negative to both terms, so I have a negative x plus 5 is greater than 7. And now subtracting 5 from both sides, I have negative x is greater than 2. I now have a negative 1 in front of my x. I'm going to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. That means that I have to change the sign. I cannot forget to do that because I divided by a negative. So going back, I have x is less than negative 2. That's a positive 2 divided by a negative 1 is a negative 2. So now to graph this, let's pick a decent color. Let's go with bright green. I have x is greater than 12, so I go to 12. It's greater, that means open dot. And I'm shading everything that way. I also have x is less than negative 2, so I go to negative 2. Again, it's a less than, so it's an open dot. And I'm going to shade everything in that direction. And I'm done with that problem. Let me move down the page to number, which one was it doing next? Number 11. Number 11. So we're at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Number 11 is a fraction. So let's take a look at how to solve these. Since I have a fraction on one side, I'm going to make this side 4 over 1. And then I'm going to cross multiply. So to have x minus 4 in absolute value times 1. So I'll put a 1 in front to show I've multiplied it. I keep the sign in the same orientation. And I have 4 times 4, which is 16. Oh, and sorry, that's a less than or equal to. I covered that up a little bit. So there's a 1 out front, but 1 doesn't change anything. I'm going to go ahead and set this up as x minus 4 less than or equal to 16, and negative of x minus 4 less than or equal to 16. Going back to the first equation, I'm going to change colors here. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get x less than or equal to 20. Here again I need to distribute. So I have negative x plus 4 is less than or equal to 16. I will subtract 4 from both sides this time. I get negative x less than or equal to 12. But I have a negative 1 in front of here, so I need to divide by negative 1. And again, since I divided by a negative, I've got to change that sign. So that's going to become a greater than or equal to. So I bring down the x, and then 12 divided by negative 1 is a negative 12. Now, What if I don't have a number line? Let me show you how I would do this. I'm going to do this off to the side over here. I'm just going to draw my number line. I'm going to identify my smaller number, which is -12. Identify my bigger number, which is 20. And then I'm going to put 0 somewhere proportionally where it should fall. So I have x is less than or equal to 20. Let me change colors. Less than or equal to 20. It is a closed dot, less than or equal to, so it goes to the left. I have x is greater than or equal to -12. So I go to -12, it's a solid dot. It's greater than, so it goes in the other direction. And that's what I have. That's my answer. That's how I do that without a number line. Let's move on. That is 6 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm making notes for later, setting this up with instructions. Number 19. Let's take a look at that one. A little bit different, a little bit more. We're going to follow the same rules that we follow for solving. Since we have something add or subtract, we have to do that first. So we're going to subtract the 2 from both sides. And I get 5 absolute value of -2x less than 20. Since there is something that is multiplied, that 5 is multiplied by -2x, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And now I have -2x less than 4. And that -2x is an absolute value. So now I'm going to jump down here and have -2x is less than 4. And now negative of -2x is less than 4. So dividing by -2 in this one, I get x is less than -2. Distributing, I have negative times negative is a positive 2x less than 4. Oh, I've got to go back and fix something. Just a second. Dividing by 2, divided by 2. That leaves me with x is less than 2. Going back, let me pick a bright color. I divided by a negative, but I forgot to change that sign. So let me strike that, and let's change that sign around. X is greater than -2. So now using the number line provided, I have x is greater than -2. Number 19, x is greater than, that is an open circle. Greater than is in that direction. I have x is less than 2. Again, open circle. X is less than, it goes in toward the left. So it is filled in between the circles. So that is what you're working on today. Good luck, and I look forward to being back with y'all soon.